All right. Hello, and welcome to our very first edition of What You're Reading at FMS. I am Mrs. F. I'm the principal here, and I'm excited to showcase a few of my favorite current reads. This will be a broadcast that we do periodically to showcase some of my favorite books for middle school, and then also we'll have some special guests on here as well. So to kick this off, I want to showcase 3 books. My goal is to try to make sure that you have at least 1 book a day for the course of our year that you get a chance to check out. So this is kind of our test run or our pilot. And then once I get this down, then we'll go ahead and I'll actually advertise it and you can tune in live at home. So the first book that I want to showcase is actually, it's an award nominee, a Mark Twain Award nominee, which is one of our award nominees that we have in Missouri. It's called Zane and the Hurricane, and it's a story of Katrina. And I read this book actually this summer. I read it, I had to sit down, I read it in one about an hour setting because it just really grabbed my attention. It got me very interested to look back at that time, which I'm going to kind of read a little bit of it. I want to take a minute to read a little bit of this book. It's about Zane, and Zane you can kind of see in this picture here. Zane finds out that he has some long lost relatives in New Orleans, and he goes down to visit this long lost great grandmother that he has. Gets to take his dog with him. You can see his dog right there. And lo and behold, the time that he gets to go see his great grandmother, that's when the hurricane struck. So for those of you that don't remember, because it's been quite a while since Katrina, this was in 2005, Tuesday, August 23rd. It's an interesting date right there. Meteorologists note that a tropical depression was formed over the Bahamas, which is about 230 miles east of Miami. That storm went from August 24th, it went overnight, and it strengthened into a tropical storm, Katrina. On the 25th of August, 2005, Katrina made landfall in Florida as a Category 1 hurricane with winds of 75 miles per hour. And then on Friday, August 26th, it crossed Florida into the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. And that's when it kind of went down at that point. It strengthened to a Category 3 hurricane with winds of over 125 miles an hour. And at that point, that's when forecasters said it had 45% chance of striking New Orleans directly. That's when they voluntarily evacuated the city. And then Sunday, overnight, it strengthened to a Category 5. And at 9:30 a.m. on that Sunday, that's when a mandatory evacuation happened. Then Monday, August 29th, is when Katrina made landfall at 5:10 a.m. But at 6:50, the system of levees that operated and protected New Orleans breached and then caused massive destruction in that wonderful city. So this book takes you through a bird's eye view with Zane and his dog, and Bandit definitely had a lot to do with this. And so it takes you through, it makes you feel like you're right there when you with Hurricane Katrina. So I definitely recommend this. We have this in our library right now. Another book I'm going to stick with historical fiction is called 11, and you can see the author right there. And this one also, I think I much just like books that have some dogs with the main character. We see Alex Douglas. Alex is one of the main characters here, and he has the biggest thing that he's getting ready to turn 11. Biggest thing that Alex wants is a dog for his birthday. That's the only thing he wants. He told his parents he didn't even care if he got anything else. He really wanted a dog for his birthday. And so his birthday is September 11th. And so as you can see, it takes you through his birthday on September 11th. And I want to read just a little bit about this because Alex's dad works in the World Trade Centers. And so I want to take you through, this book is set up, and each chapter is kind of through the eyes of a different person. And so this person is called the man in the white shirt. And you really don't know who it is because it goes back and forth between more than one person that worked in one of the World Trade Centers. So this was at 10:02 a.m. on September 11th. The man in the white shirt staggered through the choking gray cloud. He couldn't see where he was going. He couldn't see anything. He nearly crashed into a light pole that appeared a foot in front of him. He heard others around him panting as they ran. Someone slammed into him from behind and then disappeared into the cloud. He spun around, disoriented. His eyes stung. He was surrounded by smoke. He couldn't see 5 feet ahead. He had no idea which way to run. He picked a direction and started forward, then bounced off something large and rubbery. He stepped back and realized what it was, a huge tire attached to an airplane's landing gear. It had broken off one of the planes and shot through the tower to land all the way here on the street. He heard more people running past and followed the sound of their feet. The man in the white shirt ran until the air around him grew brighter. The cloud began to thin. He sprinted for the light, and then he was free, back in the sunshine. 2 fire engines raced past him, sirens glaring. A policeman on the next corner guided the trucks through the crowd, then continued directing the refugees uptown, away from the disasters, to safety. The man in the white shirt stopped to catch his breath, coughing, chest heaving. He looked back at the devastation he'd just escaped. One tower continued to burn, smoke and flames still roaring from the upper floors. But where its twin once stood, now there was a hole in the sky. So I know that we are at a point now at Fulton Middle School where none of our students were even born when this tragic event happened. So it's really important that we have ways for you to be able to learn a little bit more about these very important historical events that happened, and they're told through the eyes of kids that are your age. So definitely recommend both of these books. I have lent off a couple of my other, I had a great middle school teacher that recommended a couple other books about September 11th that were historic fiction and realistic fiction. One is called Towers Falling, a very amazing book, really like that a lot. And the other book that you might see in one of your 7th grade ELA classrooms is called 9-10. Another amazing book. The last one I want to share with you is kind of one that goes in with my likes. I'm a person that loves mystery books, and so this is actually one of the Truman Award nominees. The Truman Awards are a little more young adult, so it's a little bit more of a mature book. Definitely, I don't like to say which type of kids would like certain books, because I feel like you don't have to be a certain age to like a certain book, but this is definitely one that I would recommend, probably 8th grade for sure. 6th and 7th, depends on what type of things you're interested in reading about. And this takes you through Alexis, Nick, and Ruby, 3, I believe they're 13-year-olds, and they actually are in Portland, Oregon. And so in this book, it takes you through, they get to be like CSIs. They have like a junior search and rescue team in Portland. And so they actually get to go and help with search and rescue events. And so they take you through what they do, and they actually really, one of them, Ruby, gets a little too involved, and it shows how you can get in trouble when you get too involved with things. So definitely another book that I definitely enjoy reading, and I think that you would like that as well. So just 3 books to share today, and I can't wait to share some more for you. I know at Fulton Middle School reading is such a big deal. The more you read, the more you know. You'll see outside of our staff, all of our different rooms, you can see what we have reading. I just finished 11 was my last book that I read, so I'm definitely looking for another book to recommend. So if there's a student or a teacher out there, would love to hear a recommendation that you have. All right, happy Tuesday. Hope that you guys have a great rest of your day, and thanks for tuning in for What You're Reading.